Governor Murphy is giving an update on coronavirus in New Jersey. Let's go to that now.
Particularly for our members of the press, we wanted to get to you at least with some sense of how we felt the day went. And what I'll do, I'll speak for myself. I'll have a press availability tomorrow, and we could take questions then. And by the way, we'll know a lot more tomorrow than we even know right now. So you've got a party in New Jersey, which is proudly progressive, pro-growth progressives. We've been that way. We haven't changed our stripes. I remember, Chairman, when you and I first met, and Peg, when you and I first met, it's the common ground that we found from the first moments. And it's also not just in the way we govern, and of which I'm extremely proud, but it's also how we view politics. And there are a lot of fellow Democrats out there who share in that same philosophy. And among other things, as part of that philosophy is we have the courage, just like Howard Dean did when I was his finance chair way back when. And Chairman Curry, you and I bond over this in particular.
That's right.
Right?
That
we have the courage to go into red, in his case, states, in our case, counties or communities, present our case, put forward outstanding candidates. And even if it takes a while to chip through, we get there. It also means that we care about the entirety of the ballot. We've long left behind those days that President Clinton described. We fall in love, the other guys fall in line. We still fall in love, but we also care about the entirety of the ballot, from the top to the bottom. So I would just say, in that respect, I'll speak a minute on New Jersey, and I'll give you my short minute on where we are nationally. We had a really, really, really good day in our state. And again, in many cases, it's, you know, we don't have final results because of the very uniqueness of the electoral process. But by any measure, we will have had a record turnout in our state. I don't have a specific number for you, but a record turnout. But as part of that, you had a lot of ballots that were either mailed in or hand delivered or put into lock boxes. We had provisional ballots. So the reason why we don't have the full answers here are well known, but we've got enough that we know that New Jersey once again supported a Democrat for President. Joe Biden and Kamala Harris won handily. Cory Booker is going to get reelected to the United States Senate. Again, we want to make sure that every vote is counted, and we've got the patience and appropriate responsibility to see that, unlike some others on the other side of the aisle. But it looks overwhelmingly like we'll be returning our entire Democratic House caucus to Washington, richly deserved. And, you know, we've seen this through the lens of the House, the representatives who do such a good job representing New Jersey in the House of Representatives. We saw it 4 years ago with Josh Gottheimer, kind of the canary in the coal mine. You then saw 2 years ago, you had Mikey Sherrill, Tom Malinowski, Andy Kim. It's an extraordinary group. And that group obviously sits alongside some veterans. Don Norcross was also in that vintage. And we've got an extraordinary delegation. I think it's fair to say the Amy Kennedy, Jeff Van Drew race is still not called. And my guess is that's still going to take some time. That's a district that touches 8 counties, among the broadest county seats of anyone in the House of Representatives in the United States of America. So bear with us on that. But boy, that is, if I stop right there, that is an extraordinary day. But it gets better. You look at, you know, last checking in Bergen County, Democrats have a lead of 60,000 votes county-wide. Peg Schaefer and I were on earlier. She's on with us now. Huge results out of Somerset County. Assuming this is, again, I don't want to jump the gun, but when all the votes are counted, it's a clean sweep for Democrats in Somerset County. It will be, correct me if I'm wrong, all the freeholders and all the constitutional officers will be Democrats.
Absolutely. They already conceded, Governor.
Yes, they've already waved the flag.
Yeah.
Burlington County. I've been on with a whole bunch of folks in Burlington. And by the way, these aren't just at county levels. This This is also down into municipalities. The example I have down there is Mount Laurel, a 5-person sweep. Morris County was on with Chip Robinson earlier. Joe Biden and Cory Booker have significant leads in Morris County. That's not a normal circumstance. Carrie Amero is leading right now. And again, we're not there yet in terms of finished for Freeholder. Rapunde Mehta and Darcy Drager, with whom I campaigned on Sunday, are still in the hunt in LD 25. Monmouth County, where I am, we've been on with the folks here. Moira Nelson and Mike Pena hold a narrow lead, but again, it's too early to tell. I was on with Arlene Quinones Perez, Hunterdon County, extraordinary results out of there. I don't want to belabor the point, but I do want to make the point that our party is playing everywhere in New Jersey. That's because the politics are progressive and the governing is progressive. And it's not progressive for the sake of being progressive. It's, in my humble opinion, our politics and our governing are pro-growth, smart, progressive policies. I'm proud, by the way, to say, I'll blurt this out, that I signed the plastic bag bill today. That's the strongest bill of its kind in the United States of America. Before I introduce the chairman, one other thing happened on the ballot yesterday. Lots of other things have happened. I'm giving you in real short form some highlights. The voters in New Jersey overwhelmingly passed the referendum that will allow for the legal adult use recreational cannabis. Obviously, we're working with our legislative colleagues to get the enabling legislation. We'll be naming commissioners and an executive director of the commission that will oversee this. So this will now trigger lots of action. But we got there first and foremost overwhelmingly because of social justice. This is a state, when we came into office, that had the widest white, non-white gap of persons incarcerated in America, and that's overwhelmingly because of low-end drug crimes. And we're going to put that reality with this huge step into the rearview mirror. And in addition, if that weren't enough, it's going to be an economic driver, a revenue driver, and more importantly, a jobs driver. So I have to say that is a big step for the state of New Jersey. Again, it addresses a lot of social injustices and gets us on the road to social justice. So for all the above reasons, and I will guarantee you many more, and we'll know a lot more by tomorrow than we know today, a really big day in New Jersey. Nationally, things slowly but surely are going in the right direction for Joe Biden and Kamala Harris. And I want to preach what we all should be preaching right now: patience. Let's count every single vote. And that's the way it's got to be. And I think if we do that, if we exercise that patience, that we're responsible, that Joe Biden and Kamala Harris exude responsibility, unlike the guy they're up against, we will see this end up in a very good place. The U.S. Senate is still in play. That looks more difficult, honestly. We're going to keep our majority in the U.S. House of Representatives. We may have lost a little bit of the depth of that majority, but we're going to keep that majority. We're going to net lose one governor's seat, which is one that I really had hoped in a stretch aspiration that we'd get out in Montana. But we've still got a lot more governors that are Democrat than we did 2 or even 4 years ago. So I think nationally, assuming that the trends in the battleground states of Pennsylvania, Michigan, Wisconsin, Nevada, Arizona, Georgia, North Carolina, assuming they continue to go in the direction they're going, Joe Biden and Kamala Harris will be elected president and vice president of the United States. And I know the Biden team believes, again, responsibly, that we may know that as early as later today. So with that, it is my great honor to introduce a guy I don't know where we'd be without him. He and I, as I said, bonded the first time we met, and we've been bonded ever since. Please help me welcome the chairman of not just the Passaic County Democrats, but of the New Jersey State Democratic Party, Chairman John Curry.
Governor, thank you so much. Governor, I want to start by thanking you for your leadership for all of us. But you and I both come out of the school of Governor Howard Dean that we include, and we work everywhere up and down the ticket, something that I believe in. I've definitely proved that here in Passaic County. I want to congratulate my fellow chairs across the state, all 21 of them, for the work that they have put in this year. and in many counties where we picked up local seats, and exactly what we're talking about because we're an inclusive party. And of course, I have to thank my friend, my vice chair, for in 2 years, actually it's 3 years, since Tolley turned Somerset County totally blue. And Peg, I'm just so proud of you and your work. And we had a good talk this morning, and we'll keep that with us of what we need to do going forward. So, folks, I'm excited. I'm hopeful for Amy. I spoke to her, I guess, yesterday, and listen, it's a tough district down there, so we want to wish her well, and we'd love to have her back. She would be outstanding. But I'm just so proud of our freshmen from 18, of the job that they have done, and particularly being on with the Congresswoman Cheryl last evening, and it was just exciting. And regardless of what they say, Mikey, we know that you have won that race fair and square. I want to close because being the chair of our Board of Elections here, we have a lot of votes to count. Patience is the word of the day. Most counties today don't know how many provisional ballots we have. And of course, they have to go through a process before they're counted. I'm going to guess it could be anywhere from 7 to 10 days before every vote is counted in the state. So, Governor, it's a pleasure. At this point, if I guess I will introduce Peg, unless you want to introduce her for a few words before we get to the panel. And I say we've been honored to be joined with our great Lieutenant Governor, your partner. And Lieutenant Governor, it's always a pleasure to be in your company. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Chairman. Hey, Sheila.
Hello, Governor Murphy.
How are you? You snuck on the screen there. I didn't see. I apologize.
Yeah, I did. Not a
Hey,
problem.
girl. Hey, girl. So I'll introduce myself. I'm the chairman of Somerset County is my favorite title today, but it's thanks to the other people on this screen, thanks to the governor, thanks to John Curry, chairman and governor. You guys believed in us 4 years ago when everybody else, I would make these phone calls saying, hey, give me some money. We were, oh, yeah, you can't win. There's no way you can win. I think, as you said, Governor and Chairman, we did tremendously throughout the state. I mean, watching Hunterdon County, I talked to Arlene last night. I talked to Warren County. I talked to Morris County. And those counties that used to be as red as Somerset was 5 years ago and was for the last 40 years are really all turning in the right direction. I think somebody said to me this morning on the phone that Donald Trump is the gift that keeps on giving. I think it also has a whole lot to do with we had great candidates. My surrogate is tremendously talented, has been doing a lot of pro bono work for most of her career. And she's going to be a great outreach person for the Somerset County Surrogate's office. And the two guys, poor Doug Singletary, has run every time I asked him. And I asked him probably 10 years ago to run. So he ran 10 years ago, 9 years ago, 8 years ago, 7 years ago. And he finally won. So with that, again, my thanks go out to the Lieutenant Governor and to Mikey Cheryl. I'm thrilled that, Mikey, that you're going back. And Tom Malinowski, as late as 11 o'clock last night, he was still saying, I'm not sure yet. I said, you won Hunterdon County, you won Union County. You think you're not going to win Somerset? So with that said, it's a great day to be a Democrat in New Jersey.
Amen, Peg, and hats off to you. I mean, you embody the fearlessness of going into a county with an away game and turning it around. I'd love to call up Sheila and Mikey if they're there, but we got a little bit of audio feedback. Sally, any advice there?
Oh, I'm not getting it on this.
Yeah, I have it.
If you all could mute, that would be huge. Listen, I get the great honor of going to work every day with a great partner, and that's a huge deal in life, to be able to rely on somebody to always be there, always stand for the right things. And she's one of my heroes. Please help me welcome Lieutenant Governor Sheila Oliver.
Thank you, Governor Murphy. I really have to build upon what our state chair had to share with us, as well as our vice chair. And you, of course, Governor. I could not be prouder of the performance of the New Jersey State Democratic Committee yesterday, Election Day. And, listening to Peg, I can recall several years ago when Peg would always lament, Somerset County can become blue. And I just want to congratulate you because you followed in the footsteps of Chairman John Curry. I recall when Chairman John Curry had every seat in Passaic County red. He's flipped that to blue. That is the new story of New Jersey. I think that nationally, many people can take a page out of New Jersey's playbook. We operate a party of inclusion. We have recognized the growing youth population. When this census is completed, you will find that there is every ethnic group and nationality in our state that embraces our progressive values as Democrats. I also want to thank everyone across the board from one end of the state to the other that worked yesterday, because yesterday not only was a great day for Democrats and for Joe Biden and Kamala Harris, it was a great day of Democratic Party building. And I think for that, we can all be proud.
Amen, Sheila. Amen to that. And Chairman Curry mentioned Amy again. I mentioned her briefly as well. We're all in for Amy, and we're helping in any way we can. The other side threw the kitchen sink at her, and she is the real deal. So let's stay in the fight for her because she deserves it. She's the best. I've got not a normal screen, so forgive me for that. Is indeed Congresswoman Mikey Sherrill on with us because she's another one of our heroes. And if
She is on.
I love that. Mikey, congratulations, and just so well done. So impressive at so many levels. Please help me welcome Congresswoman Mikey Sherrill.
Well, thank you so much, Governor. You know, I've been on a bunch of Zoom calls, and you've got to follow in the footsteps of Essex County and get an applause track.
I love that. It sounds like it was a leftover from
yay!
the show.
But this is wonderful. It's so great to see you, to see Siley and Peg and Chairman Curry. Peg, thanks so much for the call last night. Chairman, it was wonderful to be on with you. And Lieutenant Governor Oliver, another Essex girl like myself, great to see you today. I just have to thank everyone for the incredible work. You know, New Jersey really was the one ray of sunshine last night, quite frankly. In fact, my race was the first, I believe it was the first race called in any Trump district across the nation. I'm with you, Peg. I thought Tom could have called it a little earlier, but he did a great job. We saw wonderful numbers. Adam Malinowski's district, Kim's district, Gottheimer's district. These are all places where a couple of years ago, no one would have thought Democrats could have won, much less held the seat for a second term. And especially when, unfortunately, so much of the national messaging has not helped candidates like myself and Tom and Andy and Josh. And yet here in New Jersey, we know what it takes. It's just service. It's just serving the people of New Jersey, all of the people of New Jersey. And I think that has resonated here. I think it starts at the top and goes, you know, all the way through our ticket. People know that we are here to fight for them, and especially through this global pandemic, the difference in what they've seen from leadership here in New Jersey versus what they've seen from leadership in Washington has been striking. And I think that and really almost more than anything can account for the great results that we've seen here, different from the rest of the nation. So we should rightly be proud.
Amen, Mikey. Congratulations again. And we assume, notwithstanding the cough, you're good and your family's good?
Yes, I'm great. We're doing great. Thanks so much, Gov. We're out of quarantine. That was with 4 kids who are in virtual schooling. I'm not going to lie, that was a little tough, but we're all doing great. Thanks.
I love you. And by the way, poor Amy is quarantining. Speaking of Amy, she's also not only in the fight of her life politically, but she's quarantining. Mikey, thank you so much. A couple of things, Siley, before we wrap. I think the view is Chairman Curry's got to count some votes, and we've all got balls in the air here. Fellow Democrats, just a couple of things I want to leave you with. Again, let's preach what we know is the responsible way to every election: patience. Every vote matters. Every vote counts, whether it came in the mail, provisional, some other fashion. We can't ask the President of the United States to adhere to that if we don't do it ourselves. And I promise you, and I know on behalf of all of us who have spoken and all of us on this call, that that's exactly what we will do. Secondly, it is extraordinary that when you have outstanding candidates who stand for the right things, and you run your politics in a smart way, good things happen. And Mikey alluded to this. When you look back, it's in my, just even 4 years ago, look at what the congressional delegation looked like. Look at what Morris, Hunterdon, Somerset, Monmouth counties look like, and look at where those counties are, either where they are today or where they're headed. Third point Mikey raised, and I want to say this, we're not out of the woods on COVID, folks. Another bad day of numbers. This is going in the wrong direction, and we're going to have to stay together. And it's, by the way, it's the ultimate bipartisan. It should be the ultimate bipartisan responsibility. And I promise you, I know on speaking on behalf of all of us, that's exactly how we're going to treat this. This virus doesn't know if you're a Democrat, a Republican, a communist, unaffiliated, what county you live in, what color is your skin, although it does disproportionately impact brown and black communities. It goes after folks with lethal, with a lethality. Two other quick points. One is a big one, and one is a mechanical one. On the mechanical side, I'm going to have a press conference tomorrow. It'll be COVID related, but we'll take questions on the election. And again, we'll know a lot more tomorrow. And again, we want to preach that same patience, responsibility. Every vote counts, not just in New Jersey, but nationally, especially for the presidency. And lastly, and again, I'm going to piggyback off of something Mikey said. The great thing about the folks that we elect consistently in our state right now, who are Democrats, they get a balance right that's really hard to get in politics, at least I think. They're proud Democrats. They care deeply about the principles and why they know exactly how to answer the question, why are you a Democrat? And at the same time, they call balls and strikes. They represent everybody, whether the people voted for them or not. They try to find common ground. They're pragmatic, solutions-based. That's why I talk about pro-growth progressives. I want to completely dispel this notion that, yes, if you sign the plastic bag bill, that you're anti-business. That's just not true. We are committed to being proud progressives, and as a party, we are committed to growing our economy, standing for the right things, doing the stuff in public health as an example that we all need, we know that we need to do. So, Siley, thank you for convening us. Chairman Curry, Vice Chairwoman Peg Schaefer, Lieutenant Governor Sheila Oliver, Congresswoman Mikey Sherrill, to all Democrats, congratulations on a huge day. Let's stay in the fight here, because we got a lot of races that are still to be determined, especially CD2, Legislative District 25, Rapanda Mehta and Darcy Drager. That's still outstanding. They're doing well, Mikey, right? But they're not over the goal line yet. They're going to need our help. Amy's going to need our help. Let's stay the course. God bless you all. Thank you for being here.